talked about work, travel through work. We have yet to talk about what's work like in other places. Today, we take a trip to the land down under and explore some of the ways they do things. We also take a dive into how one perspective is seen and progresses in the workshop. This is Wonders from Down Under. Our guest today is a second-year aircraft maintenance apprentice and an aspiring pilot. She joins us all the way from Hunter Valley, Australia. Please welcome Georgia Hotwings Henderson.
Hotwings, welcome.
All the way from Australia. Wow, I think you're by far our farthest guest.
Am I really?
Definitely the farthest guest, yes.
That's pretty cool. I'll take that. Thank you.
Different hemisphere, different time zones, different the everything. Yep, you're by far the furthest.
Yeah, gosh. Yeah, the benefits. It's great. You're jealous.
The benefits. All right, so you said Hunter Valley?
Yeah, the Hunter Valley.
What is that close to? Because I've never been to Australia, so for my own knowledge.
It's like 3 hours from Sydney, which I feel like a lot of you guys know of over there because that's probably where you're into from LAX or something like that, I think. But yeah, Sydney. So Sydney's the marking point for me, closest.
And that would be, and then you would be from Sydney. You would be, I guess, west or northwest or southwest.
So a little bit in and then up. So a little bit north.
Okay.
Heaps north. Yeah.
Nice.
Can't say I've been there.
Yeah. It's a really nice spot up here. It's good. It's really good.
And obviously you guys get a decent amount of water because you were telling us prior to recording that you guys have some flooding going on there now. Hopefully nothing serious though.
No, I feel like it's actually happening more so on the coast than here, but it's really weird. So we've actually we're coming out of like a 3 or 4 year drought. So it was bad for a really long time and now it just hasn't stopped raining, which is amazing. But now people are getting floods. So it's like, whatever, we'll just take what we can get at the moment.
Right, yeah, especially after a drought.
Well, was your area really affected by the fires last year? I know Australia was hit pretty hard by fires.
Yeah, I mean, not so I live in a town called Scone and we weren't directly hit by anything, but you couldn't see properly for a few weeks because the smoke was that thick. Like it was really sad actually. There was just that really eerie feeling for weeks and weeks and weeks. Like it was shocking.
Well, we know the feeling here in Southern California last year. I mean, the whole area where we live was on fire. I think the closest one it got to me was within 10 miles of my house.
It's so scary.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
That's shocking. Well, I hope everyone was okay. No one was too badly affected that you know.
No, I think the wildlife and the wilderness took the biggest hit. I think most other people were okay. We had some fire bombers come down from Canada to support us. We got a big man-made lake in the area. And so they have these big scoopers come in and they hit the lake, scoop it up, and then take off again and go and dump it on the fire. So that was pretty neat to see.
Yeah, it's awesome. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, I think they come over to us and help us as well during our fire seasons when it gets a bit too hairy. So, yeah, they're good blokes. Those Canadians.
Yes.
Not bad.
Yeah. Nice people. Blokes, as you said. I love the slang, man. I love it.
Oh man, I love when I went over to Australia. There's like such a different level of everything. It's freaking awesome.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's cool. We try and be accommodating. We try and be cool. So.
Yeah, no, it's so awesome. I love it. So, Hotwings, you got to tell us a story. Hotwings.
Well, I'm kind of embarrassed because like when you guys were initially asking me, I was like, can you even give yourself a call sign? Like I feel like it's something you need to be like knighted with. But I used to make the joke in the workshop because I'm like, I don't want to say because I'm a girl, but I'm the strongest of the bunch. But I used to joke and just say, well, these chicken arms are packing heat, like don't worry about it. And then it just evolved to Hotwings because I couldn't say that every time. I'm like, it's all right, Hotwings is on it. I've got this. I've had to leave. So stupid.
So how did you, or what made you decide to get into the aviation world?
Well, I guess you can take it back to my dad was a pilot. So going flying with him was just like heaven when I was a kid. But I lost him in a plane accident when I was like, I would have been nearly 6 years old, but it, could have gone either way. Like never touch a plane again, never want to get on a plane again. And I went the opposite direction. So just everything aviation, just like, I don't know, just became the core of who I am. But I actually started, like after school, started a kind of working career as a car mechanic. And it was okay. Love cars still, but yeah, it was probably, or how long have I been doing it for now? Just over a year, or like a little bit over a year. But yeah, someone was like, why don't you come and work with us on the planes out of the airport? And I was like, hey, that makes so much sense. I like fixing things. I want to fly them. Like, let's do that. So here I am. It's good.
That's cool. So like in the States, we have to get our airframe and power plant license, right, to work on any N-numbered aircraft. And I know Europe's covered over EASA. What's Australia's regulations for getting your aviation maintainer's license and such?
Yeah, so we run through CASA, which is the Civil Aviation Safety Authority. So I think they do follow everything quite closely off EASA. Definitely not the FAA like you guys. I feel like, yeah, they've taken snippets from everyone else's. They've like copied everyone else's homework and come up with everything.
Yeah, sure. No need to reinvent the wheel. Yeah. But so yeah. I know in EASA, you can only be rated to 3 airframes. Is CASA the same? You can only be type rated on 3 separate airframes, or it's like the FAA. You're a broad spectrum, right? You have your airframe and power plant license. You can work on anything with wings. Is CASA the same thing?
I feel like, look, I don't know the super details of this, but I feel like we are similar to you guys. You just have to have, I think it's far out, I'm going to butcher this. I feel like it's a year, 6 months to a year that you have to have like genuine working time on that particular aircraft for your license to stay relevant. But I've never heard of us having any restrictions on the amount. So
okay, yeah, that's pretty similar to the FAA rules then. Yeah. Like I said, I know EASA, you can only be, like say, you could be 747, you could be a Gulfstream G4, and you can be a Cessna 172 or something like that. And then if one of those airframes becomes outdated and they no longer use it, then you can go to the next school for the next airframe.
Do another thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Hey, you taught me something. Here you go.
Yeah. So as far as CASA is concerned, you said you have to have like 6 months to a year of actual wrench time. That's similar to what the FAA does, but there's also so many different ways to get your A&P license here with the FAA. Is there like different avenues you guys can take as far as CASA is concerned?
Yeah, so there's the way that I'm doing it. So you start an apprenticeship, which means that you're learning on the job. So I work full time. And then depending on what my school is doing, they will book us in for some blocks. Like I've just done a month at school doing piston engines. The next block I do might only be 2 weeks, depending on the subject, but it's all broken up over the course of my 4-year apprenticeship. Otherwise, I know there's also kids in my class that do it self-funded. So they'll just, which is actually similar to how you guys do it, I think, going to A&P school, but they'll just smash out the school for, just go right through, do it for 18 months, whatever it is, and then hopefully go and get a job from that. So yeah, they're the 2 ways that I'm aware of.
That's how I did it with my A&P school. It was 22 months straight, and then you get and like the second to last quarter, different companies will come to the school and you can interview with them, give them your resume and all that kind of stuff, and then hopefully you'll have a job lined up before you even graduate.
Yeah, that's ideal, isn't it?
That'd be the best case scenario.
But the apprenticeship is an interesting. So does your job like pay for the schooling then?
Yep.
That's pretty awesome. Appealing because most of us, I would say, don't have the 40 to 80 grand or whatever it takes, or however much your school costs to go. But hey, 4 years, I can work, get some OJT, and somebody's covering the bill. That's I think I would have done that route had that been an option for me.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I kind of sort of did something similar, but with the military. But it didn't lead to a license. It just led to a journeyman cert. And then if I so choose to, I can get an A&P license. But at that point, you know, you at least already had X amount of years of experience in a certain type airframe.
Yeah. So also with the military thing here, so like Six, you know, he's worked on helos and such for 15 plus years, and but doesn't have the A&P. But he and I working together, and then like 6 months to a year of working under me or my license, then I can sign off for him to this and just go take the test.
Yeah, okay. There you go.
Is that something that's doable in Australia as well?
Yeah, so what I'm currently working towards now is my AMA license, or sorry, qualification, I should say. So aircraft maintenance engineering. And then after that, I've got to go and do a diploma for my license, which then means I can sign off on other people. But as an AMA, I can't sign off on anything. But I can do all the work. I just got to have someone else there to be like, yep, you did not fuck that up. Awesome.
I think that's kind of sort of the same with us in a sense, right? MVP. I mean, we can sign off our own thing, depending on the company and the airframe. But most things, especially FAA, you have to have like a peer signature, no?
Yes, that's correct. You have to have 2 signatures. And then if you work under like a Part 145 shop, you can also, you're protected under the 145. So you would use the 145's number to sign off your write-ups. And then if something happened, hopefully nothing happens, but if something negative happened, the 145 takes the hit and you don't take the hit directly to your license.
Ooh.
Which is,
that's a big one.
Bit of insurance.
Yeah, a little bit of insurance, but obviously there'd be some internal feedback from your employer of the 145, right? But at least you wouldn't lose your license, depending on the severity, I guess, of the situation.
Oh, yeah. And the MVP alluded to a time when he's seen people literally lose their license real time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Spot checked on the ramp by a local FAA representative, found to be doing things not to the book, and they cut up his license in the middle of the ramp and said, get off the ramp. Never to work in aviation again, or at least with an A&P license again.
No beating around the bush. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Hotwings, you're also aspiring to be a pilot as well. So you're doing an apprenticeship and learning to be a pilot at the same time?
I am indeed. Yes.
Man.
Trying to keep myself busy.
No kidding. That's all sorts of busy. Like I would have, that's a lot of space you gotta absorb.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, my brain is kind of like that scene out of Step Brothers. I think I was telling you guys this the other day when they're making the bunk beds, and he's like, "There's just so much room for activities." That's my head all the time. So trying to fill it up with as much stuff as possible, but it has been a little bit of a challenge trying to get the two happening. Smoothly, if you will, but it's working. Like I've nearly got the first stage of my license now, so we're getting there.
Nice.
We're getting there.
It's always something different when you see the actual mechanics flying, and you have a little bit more know-how than just a regular person who just decided to hop in a seat and get his license.
Yeah, definitely. It actually amazes me the amount. I mean, this is me just being like an absolute plane freak, but like it amazes me the amount of engineers that just have no interest in flying them at all. They're just quite happy going to work, fixing. That's kind of it. But it has like been a huge benefit knowing the engineering side of things as well as, you know, how to fly. Like you're getting both sides of the story really well.
Almost deaf. And there's also been, we've had experiences with engineers who are just all about designing, like making the drawings and the blueprints, etc. And then they've never actually see their drawings, their creations actually be made and then put on a plane. So when we come with them with problems like, hey man, this doesn't fit or this is not working right, and they just kind of like they just go straight to the drawings. It's working right here in the drawing. That's cool. But let me tell you what's really happening.
Yeah, it's hard to get that translation across when your brain's so heavily in that design phase, or, you know, just the fixing, and then you've got a pilot coming and telling you, but no, it's still not feeling right. And they're like, but the manual says it's right. It's like, Yeah.
Now, have you had what sort of pilot? We'll say gripes. What sort of pilot gripes have you heard come across the way, and you're like that? No. Like an example is like they say like weight on wheel switch doesn't work in flight. No shit.
Yeah.
You don't say.
No, yeah, no, thanks for that insight there. God, no, I haven't heard anything crazy yet, to be honest. No, look, there's our Fireboss pilots are pretty good with getting things across, and they know those planes are their babies.
Mhm.
They know them inside out, all the little quirks that they have. And as soon as one of them comes up and says, this isn't doing what it's supposed to, we're all pretty quick to just be like, yep, listen to the man. He flies it all the fucking time. Like he knows what's going on. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, there isn't a whole lot of like well, you mentioned pistons, so I'm imagining there's like not a whole lot going on versus like something that's larger or something that has a specific task to do once it's actually in the air. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like combat aircraft or commercial airline aircraft. Like there's like so many bells and whistles that has to go into like making sure the passengers are safe, make sure they have a way to egress should an accident happen versus like some of the smaller airframes that you've shown us. It's kind of like a little bit more personal, I would say.
Yeah, it's a bit more intimate, if you will.
Yeah.
We have, so we've got, oh God, there is such a crazy mixture of aircraft in our workshop. So we do run like joy flights and stuff out of some of our Cessnas. And like, I'll give the passenger briefing for that. I'll be like, if the fire goes off, don't breathe while the extinguisher's going off. Don't jump out any windows. Don't touch the controls. Like it's super, super lax. Like they're just like, oh, okay, just don't touch anything. But there's, we still hit all the little twos, but it's definitely not as formal as it would be for what you guys have worked on, I don't think.
What types of airframes do you guys have in your shop?
So we have, where do I start? So we've got the Cessnas, we've got a Marchetti bird dog, which it was originally known as before the Italians took over. We've got the Firebosses, so that's an air tractor that has been put onto some big whipline floats. What else have we got? We've got the Warbirds. We're building a Spitfire at the moment.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. That should be finished in we're hoping 8 weeks. It's been a long time coming, but we're excited for that. And then we've got the Harvard. We've got a Tiger Moth. We've got the Mustang.
Ooh.
We've got the Hawker Hurricane, Chipmunk. Like it's just, there's so much stuff happening. So much.
Wow.
Yeah, you guys have quite the mixture of new, old, different sizes, different built for different things. That's pretty wild. And now, are those all for a variety of customers, for one customer, or building? Your boss buys it. Do you build them and then he resells, or what's that going?
So a lot of them at the moment actually do belong to my boss and his family. So they were all restoration projects from back in the day, and I highly doubt he'll ever let them go. Some they do belong to other people, and we just hold on to them. We're actually upgrading our museum at the moment. The airport's getting huge renovations at the moment. So our museum hangar's getting big upgrades. So a lot of people will send us their planes. Like we've just had a Mirage jet and a Mackie sent to us from I don't know who, but they're not ours, but they'll just live in the museum hangar for however long they need to. But yeah, so some is ours, some is not.
Okay.
Which is cool.
Your shop sounds a little bit like one here in Van Nuys when I used to work at the Van Nuys airport, which is in what they call the Valley, in Los Angeles area, but a company called Clay Lacy, and they have kind of a mixture of that. And the owner, he's a lot of those old Warbirds and stuff sitting in the back are his own personal projects that they'll never get rid of, but they're also not airworthy anymore either. So
Yeah.
Just there for nostalgia,
pretty much. I think just so you can look at them and say, look what I've got type thing. But man, I think you could at least, it's sad to see a couple of those P-51s just sitting there collecting dust. I mean, either one, donate them to a museum, or two, put the money into them and make them flyable again,
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We have a lot of museums like that, and all of the restoration, like the aircraft might stay static, but a lot of the restoration will be done by old dudes that just volunteer. There's always someone that wants to be involved in the rebuild. So like even if they don't fly again, they're getting a glow up. So it's happening one way or another.
Nice.
That's cool. That's how a lot of the Warbird restos go here. You'll get some old timers who worked on them back when they were in their heyday type thing, you know, and they'll just come and donate their time because a lot of the knowledge and how those aircraft are put together or how to fix them, you know, are slowly getting lost with time. But fortunately, there's still some guys around that can shed the knowledge on it, and they'll just donate their time and do that.
Yeah, definitely.
So, what is like your most favorite part about being an aircraft maintenance engineer?
Everything. I don't know. I'm still so like I'm still so fresh into it. Just everything still excites me so much. But I get such a good well-rounded. I don't just work on the engine side of things or the air. Like I've been doing a great deal of sheet metal as well. I'm getting a really good scope of the whole industry at the moment. So just anything I can learn, I'm just getting super pumped up about.
The sheet metal, as you can attest to, that is an art form. I haven't done sheet metal in a long time, and at the end of 2020, I was supporting a project, and we were doing some sheet metal work again. And I was working with some guys who have done it day in and day out for years, and it's impressive what people can make out of nothing. You know what I mean? It's quite the art form.
Oh yeah, most dev. So do you prefer the airframe side of it or the power plants? If you were to pick.
If I had to pick, I don't know. I know I'm definitely more interested in the power plant, like especially since just finishing piston engines at school. I'm like, that's what I want to do. The sheet metal's good because that's like it's one of those things. Like it's going to beat me most days. But I love that because it's like, okay, no, we're not going to lose today. Like it's super challenging. So I love that side of it. But yeah, definitely more interested in the power plant side of things.
I would have to agree with you on that for me as well. I'm more of a power plant person.
Same. Flight line for life.
That's right.
Flight line for life. Now you mentioned sheet metal. I can say a bigger headache than sheet metal will be composite. Like, man, like that's a whole different art form in itself, and just working with it fucking sucks.
You know what? I mean, though, I thought I thought composites were a little bit easier than the sheet metal side.
True to a point, because at least like with composite, like if it breaks, like whatever, I can just fabricate another one. Where sheet metal, like it whatever you do to metal, it highlights all of your mistakes. Like if you peened it wrong, if you bent it wrong, it's gonna show all the time. Like, so I do get you guys on that end. I just hate composite because of all the stuff that goes into it, like all the prep, the cure times, and all that.
The prep work is insane, and learning from the guys that I learned from, it's all in the prep.
Oh yes, 100%. So Hotwings, this is actually a question from one of your fans. Yes, you do. You have them. You do have fans, and they say they're asking like, what's it like being a woman in the industry, and what are some of the things that you have faced being in it?
That's such a good question because it's being in two separate trades now. It's been two very different experiences. Cars didn't love that. They didn't want me there. They really didn't want me there. But aviation, the second I walked into that workshop, my chief engineer just like, hey, you can pull the hydraulic ones out of the floats. And I was just like, yeah, I should be able to do it. And he was like, sweet, off you go, sort it out. Like there was no pressure to do, to work miracles or anything straight away. He trusted me. You know, if I wasn't going to be capable of doing something, he kind of just knew that she'll come and see me if she has a problem. But a year into it now, the boys that I work with have been so supportive and so like they know that I'm there to learn. They know that I love what I'm doing. I've made a ton of mistakes. Don't get me wrong. I'm definitely not perfect, but they're just like, she keeps showing up. She knows she knows what she wants to do, and they just treat you accordingly. I've never felt like the woman in the workshop. Like there's never been a me versus them moment. It's just, if she wants to work, we'll put her to work. It's as simple as that. They're quite straightforward in my workshop, which is awesome. There's been no pressure from that. It's good. It's really good. I'm very grateful for them.
It's nice. Yeah, it's nice that they're taking the time to show you things, but also letting you kind of be your own person and not being what I call a helicopter parent type thing where they're hovering over you the whole time. Like, what are you doing now? What are you doing now? It's nice that they're allowing you to be an adult.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because I mean, we've seen instances where you have felt from like the automotive side of the house where like, oh, like you just felt like the boys club just got broken up, you know, or the boy band got broken up. Like now we gotta be nice. We gotta be sensitive.
Yeah, now we gotta watch what we say.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, no, it's very just different attitudes completely. And like I was the first female apprentice that Jeep Chrysler Dodge put on in Australia because they didn't want females in there. And my service manager at the time actually kind of like snuck me through the system, didn't tell higher up that he was putting me on. And then I came through on payroll, obviously, and they're like, what the heck? What is she doing in? And the probation period was like 6 months. And the big boss had said to my manager, give her a week to prove herself, otherwise she's out. So that was the kind of shit that I was, that pressure that I was constantly dealing with. So, yeah.
That's almost, that's unnecessary pressure. Putting too high expectations, like you have to prove yourself in 1 week's time. Well, I'm new to the industry, so I don't know what I'm supposed to prove you on, but like, I guess I can change oil do you want to time me changing oil? Like, what do you want me to do here?
Yeah.
Right.
How badly can I do this? I don't know.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. It's probably like that, unfortunately, in most places throughout the world. I know in the States, there's definitely that happens more often than not, be it in the automotive side or in the aviation side. But hopefully that kind of starts dwindling as
it's definitely getting better, but it's not going to disappear for a little while. I don't think, that attitude. But that's just the older mentalities, and they're just stuck in their ways for now. And that's no one can really change that. But yeah, it'll take a little bit more time, I think.
Now, one thing I've noticed in the U.S. side of things, a lot of the women who get into aviation, they don't stay on the floor for very long. They move to management pretty quick. Like they move up through the ranks really quick and into management roles, which is good because then they're also bringing in, they're recruiting more females to come in on the floor, which has been helpful.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think a lot of it comes like they're just coming here with that willingness to learn, that willingness to progress, that willingness to make improvements, changes, and so forth. And then their work ethic shows, their enthusiasm shows, and they're just like, when we want you in a spot where you can mentor people, and then naturally when in nowadays the more likelihood of other women mechanics coming by or women technicians coming by, they're like, okay, this person can be your mentor and really teach you the ropes of what's actually going down. That's something along the lines you're going to do too. You're going to find some baby Hotwings and put them under your wing.
I don't know. Look, I would love to. I'd love to be a reason for other women to come through, or at least help. I can't see myself sitting at a desk or doing like in the workshop. Yeah, I'll train as many people as I can. One day, hopefully, I'm at that level. But I can't see myself sitting at a desk. I think I'll be on the tools and flying till I can't do it anymore.
I mean, that's what MVP and I said. Now look at us, we're inspectors, and I mean, we do some stuff on the floor, but for the most part, we're there chasing numbers and making sure people are doing their stuff right
and reviewing processes and stuff. Now, God, I've been getting into that lately. Just deep dive in technical manuals and making changes here and there, and having things, working with engineering. They want to remove things, add things, and I have to deep dive and say, well, does it make sense? Yes or no? And then there's a whole process for that. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. Now you're flying. What kind of hours do you have to have down there for your different type ratings?
So RPL, I feel like it's all set up the same with the licensing. So RPL, PPL, and CPL, I think. So recreational pilot's license, that's like your first stage, or restricted, I think some people call it. But I think the minimum for that is 25 hours. So it's actually quite quick. It's not too bad. It's still expensive, but it's quite quick. And then your PPL, that bumps up to 40 hours minimum. And then there's obviously quite a few more exams in between that little period there that you have to do. And then CPL jumps up to, oh goodness, I think that's 120 or 150 hours. So that's a lot more again. And then that's like the big 7 exam block that you have to do, which is a lot of hard work. Like, yeah, but your CPL is the foundation if you want to go ahead and do like the really cool stuff. So
like that would be if you want to fly airliners or private jets or multi-engine, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So CPL is kind of the baseline foundation for any bigger endorsements you want to get, which is, it's a good way to do it.
So where are you at in your certifications now for flying?
So I think I'm like an hour off getting my 40 hours. So I'm going to start going through and start studying for my PPL exam. So it's my private pilot's license. And then just got to get those hours up so I can, because CPL is the goal. So I've just got to keep flying in between that and then get those big exams out of the way. So nearly halfway though, which is exciting. It's been a long time.
That's awesome. How often are you able to fly? Is it a daily, bi-weekly, weekly, monthly? You know?
Yeah, I'm quite lucky with my work. They look after me quite well. So when the weather's not misbehaving, I'm usually trying to get up like 2 or 3 times a week, which a lot of people can't do. So I'm, eternally grateful for what my boss does for me. But yeah, just it's so hard because when you're practicing or learning anything, you want to be doing it obviously as frequently as possible. Like a player would never just play once a week and then that's kind of it. So you really want to keep a rhythm happening with it. But that can be hard because it is an expensive thing to do. So yeah, just got to balance it all out somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a full-time job, also full-time student still. I don't know if you have, family obligations outside of work. You gotta mix into the play too. Just not a lot of, you gotta sleep. What did Arnold Schwarzenegger say? Sleep faster. I think he had a speech called Sleep Faster. It's one of those.
Sleep faster.
Situations.
Yeah. Now be honest. When you're actually in the plane and you're about to roll down the runway, do you hum the Top Gun theme song?
Every day. Absolutely. I mean, like a Cessna 150, which is like a Milo tin with wings. Like it's the smallest plane you could probably jump into. And I'm like
doing like weird calls on the radio, like I'm switching to guns, Goose. Like, what are you talking about?
My instructor's like, would you shut up and just stop?
Permission to buzz the tower.
Switching to guns, Goose. You're in a 172.
We don't have guns.
So your plane is like literally flying on kite strings. What are you talking about?
Taping broomsticks to the wings so it looks like guns.
Right.
It's so good.
So awesome. What's some of the funnier things you've seen or done in the shop?
Oh goodness, we're so tame. Hey, we are so tame.
I'm surprised because Australians aren't known for being tame.
No, see, we're not outside of the workshop. We just don't advertise because we're all aviation, so we're trying to keep our job.
Unlike us hooligan Americans, right?
Yeah, far out. No, we definitely have our parties. We definitely enjoy ourselves out of hours. But workshop, it's heads down, bums up. We're quite serious.
Heads down, bums up.
That's the way we like to work. Wow, I feel like we're such opposites on that side of the spectrum because, we do serious work, and when the time matters, then yes, like you said, heads down, bums up. But if it's just like routine servicing, routine maintenance, whatever, you hear radios blaring, you'll hear like the entire spectrum of the music industry playing.
Yeah, the shenanigans, the shop pranks, all that stuff, man. It all happens.
Right. the ID10T forms, catching sparks or doing exhaust samples.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Now, in your apprenticeship, have you had to do any of those things? Have you had to take exhaust samples or?
I got lost looking for a left-handed screwdriver once. But that was the worst of it. I don't think they wanted to try. Oh, and blinker fluid when I was a car mechanic. Yeah, we ran out of blinker fluid. I was like, shit, where do I get it? That's terrible. I'll hold it.
Oh man, that's good.
Well, at least she wasn't like that one dude in our last story who ordered a pallet of rotor wash. Remember?
Oh my God, yeah, $15,000 worth of rotor wash.
Say, what the
fuck? Where did you even find it?
Oh, by the way, or in Shoreline's case, like he's going around round robin around the fair trying to find some shoreline that doesn't exist.
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
Oh boy.
So how are you guys going with work and everything at the moment? Are you back in the swing of things? Like, has COVID affected you guys too badly? So
for myself and Six personally, we've stayed working the whole time.
You guys wouldn't have been affected, right?
Yeah. So because we're contractors, our programs have been deemed essential to keep going. So awesome. We haven't had any hiccups. Now there have been days where somebody's like, I'm exposed and I worked around these guys, and they'll send certain people home for 10 days or whatever it is and this and that. Yeah. But for the most part now it's still been, some days are 12-hour days and that goes for weeks, and some days are just normal, but it's just pressed on. No hiccup in the system really.
That's awesome. I'm happy for you guys. That's great.
Well, how about you though? Down there, has the COVID been a pretty negative impact on your work?
My workshop personally, no, because we're fire services, we're technically essential as well. So we didn't stop. And right when it all hit, we were getting ready for a fire season. So it's like, we're not stopping. Mm-hmm. No. You tell us that we're probably not going to stop.
Yeah, fires don't stop for COVID.
Exactly. So yeah, we were very lucky there too. Very lucky.
Did you guys have to increase your hours? Like I was saying here, some days when people had to be out because they were out sick or whatever else for COVID, to make up for the lost time, instead of working, like say, a normal 8-hour day, our days increased to 12-hour days. Did you guys have to go through a similar time or schedule change?
That's huge. No, we're so lucky. Where I live, nobody got it. Like there are a few people in Sydney that copped it, but we're isolated where we are, kind of like we're in the sticks a little bit. So the only real changes that happened in our workshop was we split the workshop into 2 separate hangars. So it was like team A and team B. So if someone did get sick, it wasn't the whole workshop wiped out, but so our hours didn't change. It was just we took a lot of precautionary steps quite early on to just prevent any crap happening. So, but nothing happened.
That's good. Lucky. Awesome. You guys get very lucky because, man, so many other places were. Now I'm going to switch up gears a little bit. So, are you aware of the YouTube channel called Mighty Car Mods?
No. What's that?
So it's these 2 guys, Martin and Moog. They're out of Sydney. Their channel's really good, but they just work on cars. They'll buy and sell cars. They take them to a track. They modify them themselves.
Actually, I think I have. These guys are awesome. They did like that cool little Beetle thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I do. They're awesome.
So do you think it's possible to do an aviation version of that? Because I watch that channel quite frequently, and I would keep thinking to myself, how can we do an aviation version of that, right? And I'm not a pilot, so it'd be hard for me. I can work on them, but I couldn't go fly them. But you're a pilot, so
yeah, I reckon it's totally
hint,
totally
wink,
doable.
Yeah, that would be.
Can we sort this out, please? I reckon that would be. I'd have to look into because what we've got here, if you're going to build your own plane, even if you're not a licensed engineer, it's called 51% rule over here. So I think for you guys, it's a
experimental.
When you're just building. Experimental, that's it. So over here, it's the 51% rule. If you build more than 51% of the aircraft, CASA says, well, you built it, like, you know how it goes. You're licensed to work on it, and therefore you can fly it. So
interesting.
It's doable. I reckon it's doable.
That'd be pretty sweet. And it's just, the channel obviously start off on some smaller planes, and eventually, as you build up your licenses, I think, I think we really got something going here.
Yeah, there we go.
That'd be sweet. That'd be a cool channel.
Yeah.
Just find us a dingy space where we can build / restore a plane, and then we'll have you fly it. Hey, more hours for you. More hours for you.
Yeah, man, I'm happy with that. I'll be a test pilot.
So, Hotwings, any last takeaways for anyone out there, especially like the women that are mechanics or women aspiring to be mechanics or pilots?
I think my number one tip is, so I've got a few tips. That was a lie. Don't ever be.
A few tips, she says.
Don't ever be swayed by what someone else wants you to do. I know that there's lots of women that I speak to that say, I want to be an AME or an AMT, and the bosses will be like, yeah, that's fine, but we think you'd be better suited in this role. And that's fair enough. Sometimes that is the case, but if that's not what you want to do, don't do it. Always have fun with it. The second you stop having fun with what you're doing, and I'm not talking like a crappy day at work, just always be having fun with what you're doing. Like this whole thing is meant to be a really, it's like this beautiful journey of learning. I'm about to get super deep and emotional here. Like, you just enjoy the whole process. Don't let it be a drag, and don't put up with any shit. That's for the ladies. Don't put up with any shit at all, because you're just as capable as anyone else.
Damn right.
Yeah. No stopping what you want.
Yeah. Fist bumping everything. Hell yeah. Anything, MVP, any takeaways?
Hotwings, thanks for coming on. It was a pleasure talking to you and getting the insight of how things operate in other parts of the world. Parts that I've never been to personally, but it is a life's goal to get down there one day. So hopefully can make that happen. We can all meet up at a pub somewhere and maybe go for a fly over the Outback.
Yeah, most def. And you got to show us some of the craft beers that go on in Australia, because I've tried one. I can't find it nowhere else, and it was fantastic.
Oh, really? Well, let me know. I'll ship some over for you. I'll start sending samples now and get you ready for it.
Bet.
Say less.
Say less, man.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Alrighty.
So much.
All right.
Legends.
Stay in touch, and I'm sure we're going to have you on here again real soon.
Oh, that'd be amazing. That'd be cool. You guys have an awesome rest of your day.
Hi.
You too, well. And enjoy the rest of yours as well.
We'd like to thank our patrons for supporting our show and allowing us to keep producing episodes, and keep Shoreline ever the happy to produce our show, with special thanks to Erica Lamont, Chris Hawkins, Stephanie Boatman, Jenny Dignan, Ryan Frushauer, Daniel Schubert, and Steven Shivers. Thank you all, our patrons, so much, all your support, and again, your patronage. If you have ideas, topics, or stories for the show, or you would like to be a guest on the show, visit cancelformaintenance.com and drop us a line on our contact us section. We will do whatever we can to get you and or your ideas onto the show. Check out our sponsor, Rockwell Time, for all sorts of outdoors and sporting apparel such as watches, safety-rated sunglasses, and snowboarding goods. Visit rockwelltime.com, use code CX4MX, and save 10% off your purchases. Support us on Patreon at patreon.com/cancelformaintenance. Patronage, again, allows us to continue making episodes and maintain our gear. Patrons also get exclusive perks such as access to our Discord and discounts to our upcoming merch.